Well, I'm super excited to have with me today Daniela Derin and who's calling in from Spain this morning. And of course, I'm so excited because I'm going to Spain in 3 weeks' time, and I'll get to meet Daniela face to face. But for now, she is sitting outside in the sunshine in Marbella, and I'm sitting in my basement. So, hi, Daniela. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Heather. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, it's beautiful. Having the sun warming my backside is amazing. My old bones appreciate it. So, yeah, quality of life.
Absolutely. Well, actually, here in Ontario, we are on the same latitude as Spain. So I'm thinking,
Believe it.
where is this sunshine? We should have it. But
Well,
you,
Marbella has a microclimate. So, but yeah, definitely south of Spain. And we have Morocco just 20 kilometers that way. So, yeah, south of Spain is, and it's an amazing good weather.
oh, well, you look absolutely wonderful. You are obviously enjoying all that sunshine. So we're going to talk to you about a whole load of things to do with vacation rentals, and I'm excited because you and I have been in the business for a couple of decades. I mean, I've certainly been in there a couple of decades, but I know you've been in the business since what we call pre Airbnb, and you have maintained a direct booking strategy for all those years. So we're going to be covering all that, but I'd like to start with, you know, how did you actually get started? It's a question I ask everybody, and I love these origin stories.
So I was in real estate, and real estate here in Marbella is as well as rentals and sale is very well connected with the holiday rentals because back then. The other millennium, which was 1998, in a real estate, when it was Easter time or summertime, we would rent for holiday rentals for 2 weeks, for a month, which was the usual back then, whatever we had available. For example, if we had an apartment on the market in June, the owner would say, okay, let's leave it for holiday rental, and then we go back selling it in September. So that really made sense. So yeah, this is how we started. And basically holiday rental was just summer and Easter. People would walk into our offices and say, what do you have available? I would get the keys, and basically, but they would come with the suitcases, and they would arrive in Marbella with with no bookings. And some of them would ring up and say, I'm coming tomorrow, or I'm coming in 2 days' time. But I would say 80% of them were just walk-ins. This was the origin of our business in holiday rentals.
That is crazy to
Yeah.
just walk into the office. I mean, when you think about it now, and you know the way that reservations and bookings are
Yeah.
taken now, instant bookings online. Back then, and I too started back in the late 1990s. It was a very different world. Um,
Yeah.
but now let's fast forward to now. How many properties do you manage now?
Okay, fast forward to now, we have 90 units on the beachfront in Marbella. Studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. The biggest are 3 bedrooms. They're all, as I said, on the beachfront and right in the center, so people can walk everywhere. Some of them drive here, but the majority arrive by plane, taxi, and once they're here, they walk everywhere. They go to shops, they go to restaurants, of course, they go to the beach and the pool. So this is how we're doing it, and we basically we build the businesses around our lifestyle because we live in the building ourselves. So it's a community of repeat guests and repeat owners. So we really enjoy being here and being around them all the time.
So let's talk a bit about your owners. Where do they mostly reside?
I would say 50-50 Ireland and UK, some of them Scandinavians, uh, and a few of Spanish, but the majority UK and Ireland.
Okay, so they're remote. They're not coming
Yeah.
in to manage their own properties. You do all
No,
that
no,
for
no,
them.
no, no. They sit at home and do nothing. They let us do what we want. They trust us completely. It's I mean, some of them we've been with us for 20 years, so we all know each other. And yeah, going back to owners, actually, I'm going to say something I never say. The owners are your most important guest avatar because it's the longest relationship you're going to have. I mean, if you don't like a guest, You just tell them that you don't like them and they won't be back. But if you don't like an owner, is a big loss. So having the right type of owners is basic for this business.
Yes,
at least the way we understand it.
I've talked to a few people recently and talking about, how they select their owners. Because I know when I started in the business, and probably with you as well, when you start, you just want everybody and anybody just to build up that inventory. And then after a while, you become more selective and then realize that being selective is actually a much better business decision than taking on owners who are going to become a drain on resources.
What those I dislike most, and in fact this morning, this is why I'm saying, because I have it fresh in my mind. I was called in to see an apartment in a nearby building, and the guy said, I've just spent 700,000 on this apartment. And the apartment was dreadful. I mean, it was completely old, with holes in the wall. And I said, okay, if you want to rent it for holiday rentals, you don't have to spend a fortune. Just go to IKEA, furnish it nicely, give it a coat of paint, and get rid of the old tatty furniture. Oh, no. For rental is okay. Okay, sir, I'm sorry. We're not going to lose each other's time anymore. I don't like this approach. People pay good money and they deserve to have good properties. I understand that not everybody can have the 5-star luxury furniture some of our apartments have. I understand that people need the income to live. I understand everything. But this idea that it's just for rent, no, sorry. So yes, I pride myself to be in a position to say no to nasty people.
I love that. That's so well put. So talking about target markets. So who is your target market on the guest side?
On the guest side, we have families on one side and digital nomads on the other side. Families all year long, digital nomads mainly in the winter or in the spring. There are like singles or couples that come for a month or two and work from our offices with views that are these terraces that are amazing. And then families, we have basically always the same family coming and repeating year after year. Family grow, we have grown up children, then kids have seen, well, I've met mothers 20 years ago, then they got married and had children, and now these children have children. And some of them will even organize their weddings. So it's all very, very familiar, very, very nice. And these relationships that grow with the years.
That is wonderful, because we had lots of repeat guests in our properties in Ontario, because it was a domestic market and they could just drive 2 hours, 3 hours out of Toronto. So they would come back to the same place year after year, but we never got to meet them. But I think that that whole idea of creating those relationships is just wonderful, and it is key, isn't it? If you're there, you can create those relationships with your repeat guests.
Yes, and it's great because it's very enriching, very fulfilling, and for me, being able to make them happy is my reason of living. I mean, what do you do for a job? People ask me. I make people happy. Because I like being around people. I like to make them happy. I like to welcome them into our homes, and it's a very, very nice job if you like people, of course. If you don't like people, you automatize everything and out of the way. But you won't have repeat guests.
Yeah, and that was a little discussion we had before we came on, before we started recording, was really about the new breed, I guess, of managers and owners who don't do that. They aren't meeting their guests. They really don't care. It's money coming in, and that's it. And I feel that there is a divide, a big divide now between the type of, well, it's all to do with hospitality, isn't it? It's hospitality on one side and just pure income on the other. And you run a hospitality business. I want to just touch on something you mentioned about digital nomads, because I'm doing my session at the Direct Book show. Book Direct show in Barcelona is on niche marketing, is on finding, not going for the macro niche, but honing down to some to a smaller group. So how do you get the marketing out to your digital nomads, or do you need to even?
To be quite honest, we've become so popular that we just avoiding to kill our guests, they will come back because we treat them so well. They are so satisfied, and we get them basically everything they want, that they will just come back. For example, talking about digital nomad, we had one girl, Jess. She came last year through Airbnb. She booked a month. She stayed here a month, and after 2 weeks, she said, "This was, I think, it was in January." And she said, "Daniela, I want to stay on." I say, "Okay, this apartment is occupied. I got her another apartment for 2 months, another apartment for 2 months." So she ended up staying until the beginning of July. At which point I said, "Listen, go." And they said, no, I will go because now it's too cold. I said, "But I will be back." And now she arrived on the 1st of November, and she's going home on the 1st of June again. So is the weather, is the hospitality, is the community of people. It's a bit everything. So how do I get digital nomads? All this started as a joke because when the pandemic hit, we would go around the apartment, closing them up and putting all the terrace furniture inside. And it was this weather. So when people kept ringing me constantly, "Can I cancel? What do I do?" So I would sit at the terrace and take out the laptop and blah, 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 blah. As Vincenzo was with me and our children were locked up at home, he would take picture of me and say, "Look at your mother, what she's doing. She's using the terraces as an office day after day after day." Because of course we were coming down here to give also them a bit of space. Because I mean, we live in a 2-bedroom flat. Here in Marbella, you don't need big houses because we live on the street all the time. So when lockdown came, we felt a bit crowded. So we were trying to keep away from them as much as possible so they could study. So I started putting this picture on Facebook, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn, and people say, "Oh, Daniela, your office with a view is beautiful." And I started with this hashtag, "office with a view." It went viral. And then the second lockdown, which was October to March, I knew lockdown was coming. So in September, I started marketing these offices with you. I said, "Lockdown is coming. You can fly into Malaga. We'll get you in transfer. And once you're here, you can just work from here, go for lunch midday because we still had bars and restaurants, go for a walk, and then at night, you just stay inside." We had about 60% occupancy that winter. And when January, February came, that people were really up to here with lockdowns, we started to get the digital nomad family, which is mom, dad, and children. And the children would do homeschooling, the parents would work, and then at lunchtime, they would all go out to the beach and enjoy themselves and have a sandwich. So this was also the beginning of the digital nomad family. And of them, we usually have 3 or 4 each winter.
So you seized, it's a great example of seizing the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. This is what we've done all our life. We started with one business, then pivoted, and basically seeing what people were asking of us, and we started giving them. 6, 7 years ago, people started to ask us for wedding. We started organizing wedding. Now wedding has died down because there's money around and people go to get married in the Caribbean again. So Marbella has become low class again. So yeah, I mean, basically we just follow what people ask.
That is great. So you have a book direct strategy. It always has. You always have been book direct because that's what we all started with.
Yeah.
Pre 2007 or 2008. How has it changed over the years? Because I know with our company, we started ours in 2003, although I've been renting my properties since 1998. But my management business started in 2003. So we were still using paper catalogs that went out to the local sort of Toronto community. And then we had our first website, and that was so exciting. But people and used local listing sites. But then when HomeAway began to advertise more to managers, and then Airbnb came along, and then the online booking came in, we thought, well, this is the next best thing, and tried it for I don't think we got beyond about 6 months, actually. Did you do that? Did you go through that wave of thinking, wow, this is going to be working for us? Or
Yeah.
did you do something different?
No, I saw the Airbnb and booking were really the answer to our prayers. I thought, now we can stop working. They will do all the job for us. But no, because I still got our direct booking. People would still ring, email, send WhatsApp messages. So yeah, and then what they did when they did what they did in the pandemic, I said that's it. We didn't lose a lot because our Airbnb is probably 10%, something like that, 10% Airbnb and 5% booking. So it wasn't a big deal for us. But I mean, people lost the businesses. All these Airbnb gurus get rich quick. They lost it. They lost it all. So it's always better. Who said that? Build your house on your own land. Well, many people say that. They just keep saying,
Yes.
I said it first. So we just leave it at that.
Yeah. Don't build your who would build a house on rented land? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, your own land is your own website, your phone number, your mailing list, your WhatsApp list.
Well, we're going to come on to WhatsApp in a minute, but I just wanted to explore your repeat guest business because it is quite amazing. Tell me about your Canadians.
My Canadians. So we had the first couple of Canadian that came. That must have been 2012 or 2013. We don't know how they ended up here, probably through TripAdvisor or HomeAway. So they rented an apartment for a month and they were so satisfied and so happy with Marbella. They told all the friends, all the relatives, and we kept building the Canadian repeat guests up until this winter. Then we had 70 Canadians. So in 9-10 years, with 3 of pandemic that they didn't come, like from 2 to 70.
That's
and
amazing.
This is just the school. I mean, this is just our building. I know there are Canadians all over Marbella.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why they come to Marbella or what they tell us?
What
it's
do
very
they?
Politically correct.
Do go ahead.
They say we'd rather fly 6 hours to come to Marbella than fly 4 hours and end up in Florida with all the Americans.
Yeah, I'm the one that spends my 5 months of the year in the US.
So. There you go. You have to. I will talk you into it. You'll see. After Barcelona, you will be booking Marbella next winter. You can the food, the people, and from here you're 3 hours from everywhere in Europe.
Yes,
and Andalusia. You can visit all the ancient sites: Granada, Cordoba, Seville.
So you mentioned you started out with one Canadian couple, and you end up now you've got 70 Canadians. How much of that is word of mouth marketing? Because I'm so interested in the word of mouth marketing is free.
All of it. So if you treat your client well, you give them what they want, you go above and beyond to make them happy, they will scream about you to all the friends. I still have a lot of people that say, oh, Daniela, I cannot work a Google review, but I've told all my ladies in the book club, or all the ladies in the Pilates group, or all my friends, whatever. Because we have an oldish kind of population, so they from 60 to 85, and some of them are not very tech savvy, so some of them still cannot put a Google review, but they talk.
That is perfect. I've talked to Matt Ward before. I don't know if you've come across Matt. He's written a book called Word of Mouth Marketing, and it's a great book. Matt he did a keynote at the VRMA conference a couple of years ago, the closing keynote, which was wonderful. And he talked about storytelling a lot. And I know that you like the idea of storytelling too. So, excuse me, I'm going to cough.
So when you have nothing to say, just tell a story.
Yeah. When you've nothing to say, just tell a story. How does that? Can you give me some examples of how you
Oh
do
my
your
God.
storytelling?
It just comes naturally. It comes naturally. People say, "How did you start?" And that's a half an hour story. How did you two meet? Because of course we're two Italian, one from the north, one from the south, and we live in the south of Spain. That's another story. Your children, my children were born here, and then so many stories. So this morning I met up with two ladies that they were here throughout lockdown. They decided not to go back to London, and they were here with us until that June. So they were locked in for 3 months, and they wrote all over the portals and told everybody around the pool they've been here a week. Oh, we couldn't have survived lockdown here without Daniela. She was doing our shopping, and they were so helpful. And Vincenzo would come and do this. And they have been screaming about this all over the pool for the last week. That is worth word of mouth marketing. Like, treat them well, give them everything they need, and they will be your raving fans, I believe they're now called when you talk about social media.
Yes, yeah. I've been talking about creating raving fans since 2005, so maybe I coined that.
I've been creating raving fans since 1998.
Yes. But that's it. Your raving fans are the ones that will bring you the business, and you don't have to
Yeah.
spend on Google ads or Facebook ads.
No, those are useless. Google ads, yes, but putting money into Facebook and Instagram is like throwing them out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
only works. I mean, social media work with organic marketing. So, and if you have very clear your client avatar, the way you're going to talk to them, what you're going to say to them, you have a nice content calendar and everything really nicely mapped out, and you're ready to have a conversation with them, being there every day. Like, you have to talk into social media as if you were talking to that person in real life. That is the only way you can grow on social media organically.
yeah. And would you agree that you have to have your avatar or persona clearly in mind to know who you're talking
Very
to?
clear, very clear, and you need to know exactly what they think. Not only it's a family, and you're talking to the woman who's thinking about the children. No, I can talk to a woman, to a man. I talk to anybody that likes the sea, the sun, uh, like coming to Marbella, like to be in a community surrounded by people, and more specifically to the woman of the family. This is who I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to. And then other people come, but in general, this is who I talk to.
So we talked about direct booking. How do you make potential guests aware of direct booking? I saw saw a wonderful post, well, not so wonderful post the other day, but from a host who was trying to go the direct booking route, and she said, "How do I deal with the person who comes, finds my website, and then says, 'But I need to book this through Airbnb because I trust them more than I do you'?"
Yeah, I have some of them, maybe 2 or 3 a year, and I said, go online and you will see. I have a landing page on my website that is called Book Direct. I opened it for Book Direct Day. That was a couple of days ago, no, a couple of months ago, sorry. And it really explains how you can book direct and why you should book direct. First of all, you should book direct for price, because if you go to Airbnb, it's minimum 15% more expensive, because there is no manager that can afford
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb or Booking.com percentage into their own percentage. And if that manager of that hotel, of that anything, looks pretty trustworthy, they have a good website, they have a good social media presence, everything is cohesive, it looks good, well, then there is the trust signal. And then also the review aggregator, that is very important. I don't know if you know Christophe of
Yes.
reviews.
Yeah.
That is amazing. You display that on your website, and everybody can read everything. And I mean, it's from Booking, from Airbnb, from Google, from Facebook. So that is the trust. That is the trust factor.
Yes, and I'll
And
just
and if you,
repeat.
I mean, if you're, yeah, repeat. And if you're a super host, display your superhost on your website.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, I'll just repeat that. That's Christoph Salmon you're talking about.
Yeah.
And his site is reviews, REVYOOS.com. And I'll put a link to that on the show notes.
Okay, so we'll get Christoph to buy us drink in Barcelona because we are promoting him. I love him.
Yes.
He's such a great guy.
No, I didn't realize he was going to be there. So I'm going to meet so many people that I've wanted to meet for so long and who've been on the show and I've never connected with. So it's going to be such fun. We've talked about WhatsApp. And it's interesting because I've been introduced to WhatsApp. I mean, Neely Khan said to me a few weeks ago, she said, I only communicate on WhatsApp really. And so I had to get into it. And it's amazing. Just to send a quick voice message was just, I don't know. I had this aha moment thinking, why have I not been using this more? But it is more popular in Europe and the UK.
In Europe is been thriving for 10 years. I would say minimum 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's amazing because not only the chat, but the free calls. Sometimes people had to ring us from the UK and it was very expensive. Back then, when people would ring us with the credit card details and stuff, it was very expensive. Now they ring on WhatsApp. The counterpart, because it's free. Daniela, how are you? How's life in Marbella? Tell me about the new restaurant. But yeah, I mean, that is part of the added value, the extra chat.
So how do you use it?
Yeah.
How are you using it
for everything? Voice messages, text messages, and I switched to, my Talk of the Book Direct show is about WhatsApp business and everything that can be done on WhatsApp business. And I've started using it about 2 or 3 years ago as the new email marketing. I use email marketing, but on WhatsApp, on email, people know they are part of a newsletter, they are part of a mailing list. Even so, some of them reply and say thank you. But on WhatsApp, people don't realize they are receiving a broadcast message. So they really feel that message is for them. They feel valued. They say, oh, look, she sent me a beautiful video of the beach. And like light bulb moment. But not only they book, you lighten up the day. Sometimes I get messages saying, oh, I had such a bad day. I was going through a very bad day. And you've lightened up my day. So that really is nice.
That is so.
This is what I do.
So let's elaborate on that a little bit more about WhatsApp Business, because I'm intrigued about the fact that you can do a broadcast message, and
you'll have to come and listen to the talk.
Share a little bit. Share a little bit with the audience who are not going to make it to Barcelona.
They will have to buy the book. No, so you can do broadcast messages even on normal WhatsApp. You open up at the very top, it says broadcast list. You have to have the people in your contacts. You add them to the broadcast list and you send them whatever message you want. Now, in the US, it's going to be way more popular because in Europe, we have this thing called GDPR. And broadcast messages are about 95% GDPR compliant, but not 100%. Because these people have never given you permission to message them. This is why the broadcast list messages need to be always inspiring, educating, never salesy. You can sell on stories, and I'm not going to say anymore before the talk. So put the link to the book direct show so people can come and listen to us both.
There will be a link, and after the show, I'm going to do an episode on the best of the short stay week and the book direct show. So I might share a secret or two after.
Yeah.
I hear from you.
I say that WhatsApp is the next big thing, but you need to have very clear in mind your strategy. And especially you need to be prepared to put your face in front of the business, and you kind of need to be available. A lot of people don't like guests to have their phone number, and that's totally fine. But if somebody wants to run a kind of a personalized business, be at the front, be the face, it's amazing, because not only you are there throughout the customer journey, dream, research, book, and blah blah blah. You are there all year long, every day. And this is why after the pandemic, so many people came back to us, because we have been in their faces all day long, keeping them happy, keeping them inspired. All this started to keep them happy. Before, I would do broadcast list or email, but just book, 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 this is what's available, hurry up, basically 100% sale. When I changed from salesy to happy, inspiring, and educational, and people just went crazy, and we went viral. I mean, before maybe we had 1,000 followers, and now I don't know, we have 10,000, 11,000, and all of them are our clients, our followers, people that before or after book with us, come to Marbella, and so on.
Yeah, I've seen some of the inspiring things that you post in different platforms, because you're a foodie as well, and
no. No, not at
yeah,
all.
I got, you know how you get squirreled by, you come across something, it's like, oh, this looks good. So I was following, I think it was Facebook, some of your Facebook posts, and you've got pictures of food, and I got so excited thinking, I'm only in Barcelona for 3 days. I cannot eat this much food.
No, but we can try our best. And all this social media strategy can be built around your day to day, because it doesn't have to take 3 hours of your day. I just take pictures and videos as I go along. I put them on Instagram. They go automatically onto Facebook, and then I put them onto WhatsApp. So it's like.
And do you do this all yourself, or do you have someone who helps you with this social media side? Because it's quite the challenge.
It's me, myself, and I. and this is like one little side of the business. As you know, we have about 25 hats at the end of the day.
Oh yes, yeah. But if you're passionate about it and you live, eat, and breathe it, then this is what you do. And
I love I love social media, and I love people. What I don't like is to do accounts at the end of the month, but that's also another part that has to be done.
I honestly think
I've been trying to delegate that for so many years, and nobody wants to take it on.
I honestly think we are sisters.
Well, I think, to be this kind of person, this good in this business, welcoming people, and you cannot like numbers. People that like number, like my accountant guy, he doesn't like people. So,
well, I've been building some educational courses recently, and one of them is really about your entrepreneurial style, because we're all entrepreneurs in this business, and we are, because of that, even though we do everything, we can't be good at everything. And some of those things that you do have to move on to somebody else to do. And bookkeeping was always mine. My personality style does not include attention to detail in terms of money and bookkeeping. So yeah, we're clearly in the same camp here. But yeah, doing this business, being an entrepreneur without loving people and without having that hospitality gene on board makes it a challenge.
Well, imagine people that don't like people. How would they do it?
I do not know. Well, they get a co-host to do it.
Well, I know somebody that doesn't like people, and he's got everything automatized. I won't say anymore. If he ever listen, he'll know what I'm talking about him.
Yeah, and I think to a degree that's okay, as long as you've got a front person who is doing that meet and greet and doing the communication part of it, because I don't think you can do this business. Well, I know you can't do this business without having the hospitality and communication side of it. And if you are doing it, it's not going to be as successful as yours is, for sure.
No, you just have, you can't, I mean, if you're not in the front, you will not have repeat guests, but there are some destination or some city, for example, they don't have repeat guests.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes,
mean, it's not, I mean, London, Barcelona, Paris, yes, they have repeat guests because people end up going. But other places, I don't know, for example, Canada, I would go to Canada once in my life if I ever get over there. I won't go year after year. So some destination are repeat. So yes, you have to nurture them.
Mhm.
But some destination or cities, it's very, very complicated to have a repeat business. So this is why they rely on Airbnb and they automatize everything.
Yeah, yeah. There are the clearly distinct parts of the
Yeah,
business
yeah,
and then there is a part of the business where automation is fine, because you're not, as you say, you're not going to get the same people coming back over and over again, so you don't
exactly.
have to create the relationships with them. Daniela, as we're coming to the end of this, I wanted you to share some of your best tips to help hosts and managers build their direct book business. Clearly a lot who are coming into the business now, they don't have the benefits of 20 plus years of
No.
experience. But what would you tell somebody who is embarking on a book direct strategy right now?
Well, definitely a good three-in-one system, CMR, PMS, channel manager that has a good website. I'm going to give a shout out to Logify, who I use. They are extremely good. To build a website is extremely easy. So if you're not tech savvy, you can build your website probably in a day or two. And social media, Google Ads, and start talking to people. Talk to your neighbors and build as many relationships as possible, because direct booking is about relationships, online and offline, word of mouth, even leaflets. Let's say you're starting a direct booking strategy and you want more owners, print out 500 leaflets and put them all around the area you want to target, and tell your owners that you're going to bring in direct bookers that are always better than Airbnb bookers because they're smarter.
I always recall, from my business, taking on new owners, certainly in the last couple of years, and a lot of them came to us because we had such a big direct booking
Yeah,
strategy. They didn't want to be on Airbnb. They wanted their place. They wanted us to know who was coming into their properties. And
totally.
that was our unique selling point. We would sell that. We screen guests. We make sure we match the right people to your property, and because they are going to look after it. If they come through Airbnb, then you don't have that ability to do that matching.
Yeah, you don't know who comes. Even if they have a good profile, then you see them arriving and it said, why did I ever accept this guy? But I mean, it's only a week. So. But yes, definitely direct booking strategy and being a pillar of your community will get you the right type of owner. And well, pillar of the community is basic, because especially in small destination, you want everybody to talk well about you, about your business. And what we also do with our guests and also with our owners, we try to push them towards a certain type of bar or restaurant, promoting small businesses, shops and tapas place off the tourist radar, so that they get a better experience, and the restaurant owners, they get more business, and that really ranks you high in the community.
I love that, and I'm glad you mentioned it. That whole idea of being a part of the community, and spearheading your business through your community relationships as well. Um,
Yeah.
Once again, you see property managers that are as remote as they can possibly be, and don't even know the local communities that they're serving.
No, absolutely not. And Airbnb guests have such a bad press. I mean, in Barcelona, I mean, they've trashed the city year after year. So they have such a bad press all over that, you're not going to put my home onto Airbnb. No, don't worry. We have we know our guests, 60% are repeat, all the others are first timer, but they come here because somebody told them about us, and it's all about families. And that's another thing when you do a social media strategy. I mean, Marbella is very well known for the nightlife. You will see nothing about nightlife on any of our publications. We go out, of course, we go out, but I never publish anything about us going out. I mean, going out for a cocktail, going out for dinner, but not dancing, Puerto Banús, and going crazy. That is not the right clients we want to attract.
That's a great point, because that does not fit into your guest avatar. So
no, I mean, the people I meet when I go out dancing in Puerto Banús is not the people I want to host. I
love
know
that.
it's very, how would I say? I don't know, classist. But yeah, and on Airbnb you cannot do that. You cannot say I only want over 30. I only want people that want to have a certain holiday. You can't. And booking.com, even worse, they promote us as if we were a 5-star beach resort. Then people turn up and see, it's lovely because it's not a resort.
Mm-hmm.
So these portals, they don't display the real essence of you, your business, and your homes.
I think you made a great case today for booking direct, and for being hospitable, and for loving your guests, and for being passionate about the business. And I can't wait to get together with you in Barcelona in a couple of weeks and talk more about this, because this has been such a great conversation. Before we finish, and you touched on Logify, is there anything else in your tech stack that you can share? Any platforms that you use that you really love?
TouchStay. They have the most amazing digital guides. I love them. And our guests love them. And even the not so tech savvy oldies bunch, they know how to use it. And they can get around town and find the hidden tapas places thanks to the map.
I think lovely that you mentioned TouchStay. I love TouchStay too. I love the entire team. They're such great people.
They're so sweet. And they're also nominated for the Shorties.
I know.
And I hope they win.
Yeah, so you'll be seeing Tyann and Andy and the team in London, because because we hadn't mentioned that, the Shorties, which are being awarded next week. So that will be
Wednesday. That will be
Wednesday. That is actually today. If you're listening to the podcast, you are listening to Daniela today on the 26th of April. So she will be hopefully picking up an award at the Shorties. We will see. She's been nominated for 2.
Yes, best holiday site operator and best social media strategy. Talking
Fantastic.
about WhatsApp and Instagram.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we will watch out for that, and we will obviously share what the outcome of the Shorties is after they occur next week or today. It's always difficult when I'm recording a week earlier and and saying today, next week, in 3 weeks. But the
people are going to get muddled up.
They're going to get muddled up anyway. Daniela, it's been fantastic.
If we win, you will hear about it.
I'm sure we will. It's been fantastic talking to you. Just amazing. Really looking forward to meeting you face to face and hearing more about your business.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be on your podcast that I know is one of the most listened to of the holiday rental industry. So it's an honor and a pleasure to share with you my little tips and trips, and see you in Barcelona in 2 weeks, if it's Wednesday today.